Great week of preparation. Guys were flying around really fast, a lot of energy at practice. And then obviously the weather was awesome the first 2 days of that we practiced during the week. Tuesday and Wednesday it was low 40s, high 30s. Yesterday was even good because our grass was a little slick and the guys had to work on their change of direction on that kind of surface. And so it was really, really good to have them get out there and experience that and, kind of joke about it. Nobody got hypothermia, nobody got frostbite. Everybody did their job. And, I think if you asked them to a man, they'd rather it be like that than 107 and 80% humidity. I know that. So injuries, DeMarvion practiced all week, so he should be good. Jeffrey McCulloch did as well. And Jordan Whittington is practiced. He's still kind of up and down in terms of, that scar tissue, giving him some pain. But, we'll see where he's at kind of day to day. Colin didn't do a whole lot. He'll travel, and we'll see how the next 44 hours play out. I think he will play if he can. He's taking all the mental reps. He's doing extra treatment, all that good stuff on the hamstring, but still a little sore from the injection that he got on Monday. Questions?
I don't like to ask about stuff that happened in the last game, but we didn't ask about this on Monday. What did you think of Jalen's play, and then he issued an apology from that?
Yeah, I thought, it was overly aggressive. They had been hurting us with the bubble screens quite a bit, and we were on our guys a bunch about the corner supporting that more physically. And but we obviously don't coach that in terms of where he hit the guy and the ball not going that way. I think he just kind of lost it for a second, and we certainly don't coach that. But I thought it was really, really mature of him to want everybody to know that, that he was sorry, and B, that, that certainly not what he was coached to do, but he's a great kid that meant no ill will. I mean, he wasn't trying to hurt the guy or anything. He was in the heat of the moment thinking he was supporting the bubble screen as physical as we wanted him to. He's got to be smarter.
Yeah. If Colin can't play a high snap volume, do y'all still anticipate being able to use that 10 personnel? And if so, who's that extra guy coming onto the field?
Yeah, we it would be Brennan at X and John Burt at Z, with Marcus Washington playing quite a bit, and Jake Smith is certainly serviceable inside too. So yeah, you'll see it.
It seemed like this team kind of went through the ringer the 3 weeks prior to the bye week, maybe even during the bye week. But was it a different mindset with them this week after that win over K-State and the way you guys were able to do that?
Well, I think any time you go through the few weeks that we went through, you start to wonder, are we as good as we think we are? Can we do the things that we had hoped to do and set out to do during the season? And so to be able to put together the 3 quarters that we did after the first quarter, on both sides of the ball, I think certainly a lot of guys probably breathed a bit of a sigh of relief, like, okay, yeah, this is us. This is who we can be. And there was a lot of confidence and energy this week.
How is Chris Brown looking in practice?
Great. He'll play quite a bit on defense and on a few special teams.
I'm guessing the answer to this is yes, but getting those guys back that you're getting on defense and having a week under their belt of an actual game? Are you expecting more and more growth in the defense to start looking like itself again?
I think so. I think there is a natural, when you look at the psychology of defense, right? Especially when you're hit with some adversity like we were the first two drives. I think when you look out there and you see number 7 and number 25 jogging back out on the field, you're like, okay, we can put a stop to this because we've got our dudes. And then now, especially with Jeffrey and DeMarvion being able to play and contribute, I think the biggest thing, is just a psychological confidence that regardless of any adversity, that we've got the necessary talent and experience to overcome anything.
You expect to stick with Kerstetter and Okafor?
Correct. And with Christian Jones being ready and being the 6th guy.
How much do you guys emphasize press coverage on defense, and then offensively, how does that affect your guys' offensive game?
What do you mean?
Like in terms of like defensive philosophy, I know this is probably a question for Todd, but how much do you guys implement like press coverage? How before you guys
Well, we're very comfortable playing press. I thought when we did press against Kansas State, we played well. But how does that affect our offense?
I'm saying like as an offensive play caller, when you're calling like your bubble screen and RPO game, how does like press defense affect you guys in the time?
No, I mean, what you call in the pass game is going to be different if you know. I think the key defensively is to change it up. Press, bail, start off and still play man. Things like that. So you want to keep the offense guessing a little bit, but in your quick game, instead of calling a hitch versus off coverage, you're going to call a slant versus press coverage, or maybe instead of a curl and drop back pass, you're going to call a go versus press. So it changes a little bit in terms of just the routes that you're going to call, but I think if a defense is doing a good job of mixing it up is when you get into a bit of a guessing game.
You guys adapted your current defense after what you saw against Iowa State back in 2017. How much has their defense evolved, and how similar is it to what you guys are running now?
It has evolved, certainly. I think that whole year, the rest of the year, they were exclusively just trapping their corners and playing the safeties really high, and letting the free runner, the corners being their perimeter run support, and by trapping inside the outside receivers, and but now they've got a variety of coverages. I mean, they're probably their base is a quarters version of quarters, but they're still in almost everything they do. If it's not pressure, you're going to see the free runner, whether it's number 12 or number 33, about 8 yards deep and kind of running around. And we've evolved as well. We have the quarters version of that as well, and so it's unique. I mean, I liken it to when a defense has to get ready for a triple option offense in 1 week. It's just so dissimilar to what you see on a weekly basis.
They bring in 3 tight ends a lot, but since they're all receiving threats, do y'all feel like y'all will match that with nickel or bigger, heavier personnel? Well,
you're always going to have enough people to cover. You're not going to jog 9 defensive linemen in there or something like that. But you'll probably see an extra big guy if it is 13 personnel with 3 tight ends, but or 23 personnel with no wide receivers. But we've made sure that our nickels, our safeties, and our linebackers know just how physical those guys are in the pass game. I mean, they use their bodies really well, and they get away with a lot because they are big guys that can push littler guys around. So we're going to have to stand our ground, regardless of who's covering them, a linebacker, safety, nickel, whatever.
return for 2 last ones.
Because of that win over last week over K-State, did you notice any let up in terms of the still keeping that mentality of your back's against the wall, having to punch
No,
off the ropes?
we can't. It's going to be the rest of the season, and we know that. We have left ourselves on a bigger scale. We've left ourselves very little margin of error, and it's going to be that way for the rest of the season. And we took a step in the right direction to getting off the ropes, but we won't be off the ropes, if you will, until after the last game.
That's the thing about you. You touched on it there when you said that the last 3 quarters last week, that was y'all,
Mhm.
right? And is that the main theme and narrative with these guys for this week is, hey, this is us. Let's get out there and just play our game. Don't worry about the weather. Don't worry about anything else. Get out there and
Yeah,
do your thing.
yeah. Uniforms, weather, location, none of that matters. We've proven to ourselves once again that our best is good enough, and that when we do play our best, we're pretty dang good. And now playing our best at a consistently high level, that's going to be the challenge. But yeah, the weather, the cold is. Temperature is temperature. The only thing that you need to game plan for is the wind. And in the kicking game and the deep passing game. But we'll have plenty of heaters on the sideline, and we'll have plenty of thermal underwear and all that. They're not going to be shivering on the field. I can promise you that. So
it's not the ice bowl.
No, it isn't. Yeah. So, but back to your original point. Yeah, I think these guys have really proven to themselves and believe that we're capable of doing some pretty good things when we're at our best.